Alright guys, so today we're going to do our engine swap here. I'll go over a few things here. It's actually why I built this Kart, the way I built it. Them traditional top carts are just so compact and just some of them require specific parts. And right here, I'll explain how. Alright, now that's a 5-inch rim. Now, even with that little block of wood on there with the 1.5-inch rise on it, I'm still just way too close. Now, these top carts, like even these engine mounts, you got to have a riser for these things, guys, or your wheels are not even going to clear. I'd like to get this thing up high enough to where I could put the 13.6s on here, but I don't know. It'll probably end up being the 11.5 that'll end up going on the back here, and then we'll put the 10.5s on the front. But yeah, with these carts, you ain't just gonna throw a particular any kind of wheels you want on here. You got to put a specific kind of wheels because of how these things are mashed together. Now this one's actually kind of bigger than my other one, my orange one, which is what I've been looking for. Which what I was doing when I built that thing was just trying to make something that was a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to work on, and not so tight and compact. Now on this, what we're going to try to do is we're going to take out them original bearing bearing housings, whatever the fuck these things are called, and we're going to replace them with pillow blocks, which will give us another inch on the drop, and we might even just scoot it back another inch just to get enough clearances in as we can. We've even been looking at other intake pipe here, ones that curve up. Maybe that'll get me up off my wheel a little bit. But when dealing with these kind of carts, guys, these are the problems you're going to run into. Everything's just mainly just this back wheel. My other one, it was weird. It had a completely different wheel on this side than it did on this side. It was offset. It was like a oval cart, I believe it was. Had like an offset to it, wasn't balanced. The passenger side tires, well, right side tires, were stuck out farther than the left side tires. But these things are just a little bit different to work on than your traditional go-kart. But my idea was to make one of these that's your traditional go-kart. You know, you see all these top carts that's got all these intercoolers and all this stupid dumb shit. Unless you guys are going out and trying to fucking run in the Indy 500 golf cart fucking championship, you know, this is really all you need to be doing to these things, guys. Just put your little motor on there, you know what I mean? Dress it up a little bit. Go have some fun, you know. This cart right here, probably get up 40, 45 miles per hour. Pretty fun. But I made it all wide open and accessible. Now, when I do this engine swap, guys, all I'm going to take off here is about 8 bolts. And just slip everything off and right back on. Like our throttle assembly here. We're just going to unbolt that. Then we will unbolt our intake here. Pull that whole carburetor and throttle assembly off. Leave that laying to the side. Undo our bolt from our centrifugal clutch. Undo our 4 deck bolts. And then don't even mess with the clutch. Just take the bolt out and get it ready. Because once you get the deck bolts out, you can just slide the whole engine block to the right, and that clutch will slide right out of there. You can put it back on the same way as well. And as for our fuel cell, how we got her set up, guys, I can unhook my fuel line right now, and it won't drip a bit of fuel. And we might get a little drip. Let's just see. Oh, boom, there you go. That's my jet out. And as you see, I ain't got a bunch of fuel laying all over my damn floor. For one, I took off that grav tank and put on this this aftermarket stock tank, or aftermarket fuel cell, which is lower than the motor. So whenever I unhook my fuel lines, I'm not dripping fluid all over the place like you would if you had the standard grav tank still on top of this thing. But yeah, we built her up to spec. We put the big old 40T roller chain on there. Them 35T stretch a lot faster. Now as for our throttle assembly here, we got 3 springs total on our throttle. We got 2 back here and we got 1 up there by our accelerator pedal. Now you got 1 that actually comes on your stock Predator throttle assembly. Not very good, and they do wear out real fast. So just keep that in mind. And that's why we got this guy right here. Now you can pick this up at any auto parts store, guys. It's like a carburetor spring kit. Comes with like 3 or 4 big springs and then like 3 or 4 little springs. Pretty good little kit to have, you know what I mean? Extra springs, especially you're working on these things. Doesn't hurt to have a few of them laying around. Now, not only we got that, we also have spring loaded the throttle itself. Now that gives us a real good smooth accelerator. It doesn't feel sticky, you know what I mean? Comes right back, you know what I mean? Real responsive, guy. Just a couple little $10 pack of spring. But yeah, the idea with this cart, guys, was just to make it fun like a top cart, but just make it not so part required like most modern top carts are. And we still got our hydro brake on there. It works real good. We custom built that. I made the custom caliper on the underneath. Don't like the underneath, but my brake line is just a little too short. I need to get the longer one of that so I can get my caliper back over here or up here. I prefer it up here on the top, but she's working right there where it's at right now. But when I go to tear this motor off or just swap the motor, guys, this thing's gonna take me 15 minutes. Pop off 8 bolts, slide it out, take off my pulse pump, you know, hook it all back up, and be ready to go. Super easy to work on. The aftermarket fuel cell, guys, is where it's at. If you're tired of making a big old mess with your grab tanks, you know what I mean? These things are real super simple. I just got a straight up hose clamp, welded me a little metal bracket down there, put a little piece of rubber on top of it to make it a little softer for the bottom of this tank. This is a little plastic tank. I think I got this tank for like 13 bucks on Amazon, guys. And it's good enough for a go-kart or a mini, you know what I mean? I got me a good little city block here, and I can get 5 laps before I got to come in for a refill, which also gives your motor a chance to calm down, especially if you're running it ungoverned. Right there, we got our pulse pump, guys. It's another 10 bucks, Amazon. I got all kind of fuel line now, but you can get a ball of it, 5-6 bucks, Amazon. You want to get the custom colors, probably going to be 10 bucks on Amazon. I got this green one from my local auto parts store. It's something for a lawnmower or whatever, but it still looks cool. And I like the yellow because it matches the paint scheme. But yeah, the idea here, guys, was to make a top cart that was just a little bit easier to work on. I don't know, that wasn't so specific. Now, if I really wanted to, I'd throw some bigger wheels on this thing. Engine ain't in the way, you know. Now, when it comes to these guys are just different. I learned a lot from that orange cart I built. Because of these things, like when I bought this thing, I instantly knew, oh shit, I know exactly what I got to do. It didn't even have the engine plate on there. I had to weld that on there myself. Oh, y'all like my temp axle here, huh? My broomstick. But it starts with the idea, and you need to get the layout. Now, the reason I had to do this right here was to figure out my axle length. Because I was almost going to take the axle off this and put it on this, because this is going to be a funner cart. But that's a 42-inch axle, and according to my calculations, this is a 44-inch axle, so that axle will just be a little too short for this cart. So I'm glad I didn't start tearing that down. But good way to get your measurements, guys. You know what I mean? This ain't giving me the exact height of my wheels because it still looks not centered up and down. But the width and the placement of the wheels is what I was looking for there. And then once I get my placement, just take my old trusty tape measure and measure from outside the wheel to outside the wheel. From the outside of this wheel to the outside of this wheel, we got 44 inches, which is going to give us all the room we need to do what we need to do. We're going to put our aftermarket fuel cell over here. It's going to be one just like on that one, just that little old tank. We're going to put that over here. Gets a little bracket mounted, welded there, so we can mount that up. Got her steering column and everything, but we need to clean her up. Get that wheel off there. It's all bent up and rusty. Try to bring our chrome back and stuff. This cart was just a nightmare, guys. Wow. The guy I bought it off of, man, the second I seen it, I felt like I seen a dead dog in the road. Just a rust. It was just a damn shame. Just a fine machine right here, gentlemen. Fine machine. We're going to get the up spec. Yeah, we're just going to keep it simple. You know what I mean? You don't need no goddamn intercoolers and fucking clutch fluid, brake, all that. Oh, just too much, guys. Too much. You know what I mean? You don't got to buy all that shit to make you a fun piece of machinery. Now, yeah, if you're going to try to win the fucking go-kart Le Mans, then yeah, maybe that's the route you need to go. But if you're just trying to have some fun in your backyard or around your little city block, you know what I mean? You don't need to go pro extreme. You can make some pretty cool shit with a bunch of Amazon shit and shit you find on Marketplace. But we're going to get her swap in today so we can get back riding while we're working on this fucking thing.